Tomorrow night, Sunday night after the Super Bowl at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be right back.
Love for a child. I'm sorry. It can't be measured. I love him dearly. I can't even sleep at night thinking about what these wicked people might try to do to him when I know he's in.
Whether it's his old pet monkey or the time his hair caught on fire filming that Pepsi commercial, Michael Jackson's been the brunt of 1 million jokes in 100 languages. But of all of them, none has cut as deeply as the musical parody by the rapper Eminem. Here Michael talks about that, plus the image recently attached to him as a creative has been. Watch.
Does it frustrate you professionally or personally when people say that this Jackson project flopped or that happened? Your #1 compilation, for instance, 7.5 million copies. Now, I think that's quadruple platinum or whatever it is that you label it, and yet the characterization by some in the music business, at least, is that you're not, well, you know, you're not, that it wasn't a hit. How do you feel about that?
#1, I don't know which project you're talking about, but
the compilation, the last one. It was
compilation is over. It's a huge success.
7.5 million.
Yes, and that's
But how come that's not the headline? It's a huge success.
Exactly.
Why is the headline?
Because negative news, sensationalism seems to sell more than wonderful, positive news, and people rather hear gossip, I think, sometimes, than the truth. And my last 8 albums have all entered the charts at #1, and so people like to sensationalize things and make up stories and rumors, and sometimes.
Does it hurt your feelings? Do you want to scream out and say, hey, wait a second, check the numbers?
It's a commonology in mankind that I don't like, that part of it, that kind of, you know, envy. But then there's a beautiful side to mankind, too, isn't it?
But not to Eminem. We've spoken about it. I think that you should. Why not?
Speak about what?
About Eminem and this disrespect that he showed you.
I'm gonna make you dance, get your chance. Yeah, boy, shake that thing. Oops, I mean girl, girl. Girl, you know you're my world. All right, now lose it.
Stevie Wonder said that he was piling on and how really rude it was for someone who made his money from the community, as Eminem has, to now diss the community in a sense, and a racist, and I've said it, very bold-faced, bigoted kind of presentation. Tell us how that hurt you and how you're feeling about it now.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And it's sad because, well, I think what Stevie Wonder said is true. And I just don't want to say too much more than that. But he should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. Stevie said he's bullshit, is what he said.
Stevie did,
he
and
used the word.
He is bullshit.
That's what he said. I mean, I'm not saying it was Stevie said it. And Stevie is he's amazing. He's one of the sweetest men in the world, you know.
So when Stevie said that, did you feel a tremendous sense of reassurance of brotherly love there?
Yes, I love Stevie Wonder. To me, he's a musical prophet, and I always love him. But a lot of people respect Stevie, and he's a very strong entity in this medium, in this business. And when he speaks, people listen. And it was wrong of Eminem to do what he did. I've been an artist most of my life doing what I do, and I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that. You know, you don't have to do that.
I mentioned Janet's, you know, fiasco and the exaggerated response to it. Once again, do you think he only did it because he knew he could get away with it because you're Michael Jackson?
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt, really. It's silly. It's kind of elementary, but I hope he's having fun.
It's like a poo-poo joke.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it still hurts your feelings, and you don't want your kids to see it.
Oh, God, I would hate it if they saw it. I would hate that.
Do you want them to know that?
To know about it? No.
Yeah.
When we come back, Michael addresses the charges pending against him here in Santa Maria after this. This programming note, aside from being repeated at 10 o'clock Pacific time tonight, this entire hour will also be rebroadcast tomorrow night following the Super Bowl at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific time, Sunday night. Now, before Ramon and I offer some final thoughts, Michael addresses the very serious charges against him and that blatant grand jury leak that has poisoned the air around this case, even as the jury is being selected. Here's Michael.
Finally, you know, we studiously avoided the case. We've not talked at all about the case that's pending. You're under this gag order. I know that you have received the permission from the judge to read a statement.
Yes.
You know, I hate to end an interview that way, but if you'd like to read that statement now, I think it's important.
Sure. In the last 2 weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me. Apparently, this information was leaked through transcripts in a grand jury proceeding where neither my lawyers nor I ever appeared. The information is disgusting and false. Years ago, I allowed a family to visit and spend time at Neverland. Neverland is my home. I allowed this family into my home because they told me their son was ill with cancer and needed my help. Through the years, I helped thousands of children who were ill or in distress. These events have caused a nightmare for my family, my children, and me. I never intend to place myself in so vulnerable a position ever again. I love my community, and I have great faith in our justice system. Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court. I deserve a fair trial like every other American citizen. I will be acquitted and vindicated when the truth is told.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No. Yes, there's something. I would love to have the public's prayers for my children and myself.
Okay, buddy, you got it.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ramon Bain, Michael's spokesperson, final thoughts.
Well, let me just say this, Geraldo. Michael Jackson is a good man. And I know that we are going to go into this thing. He has a lot of confidence in his defense. He has the love of his family. And he has maintained his innocence. And I am just appealing to people to think twice about believing everything they read.
I have a few points also. Item, the family now accusing Michael Jackson once swore to LA County investigators that he had done nothing wrong. Item, they contacted a civil lawyer before they ever contacted the police. Item, it just so happened to be the same lawyer who wrote a multi-million-dollar settlement from Jackson years before. And item, all of the incidents in the indictment supposedly happened only after the airing of the damning documentaries against Michael Jackson. Those and many other items led me to conclude that he's being framed. But he's not without blame. To me, the biggest news in his statement is Michael's declaration that he will never place himself in so vulnerable a position as the one he created by allowing children to sleep over at his home. In other words, Michael has stopped attempting to defend what is, however innocent, culturally indefensible. It's now become obvious to Michael what should perhaps have been obvious all along, that in this often hard, sometimes cruel world, there is no Peter Pan. So how much time do I have remaining in the program? Okay. I want you folks to know that if you watch the Fox News channel, you're going to get a fair and balanced news coverage of the trial unfolding here. It will be historic. I think in many ways it will raise issues that will have resonance throughout our society. As Ramon has said, I urge everybody to keep an open mind. Listen to the evidence. And as you listen to the evidence, ask yourself whether or not it is convincing enough to convict a man beyond a reasonable doubt. You know, unless the district attorney in this case, Tom Seddon, has something much more than we have seen in either the grand jury or in the various leaks about his allegations, I think Michael Jackson will be vindicated. And what we hope, Ramon, is that he goes back to music, making the music that has given so much pleasure to so many millions of people. I know the family has their fingers crossed, and we'll certainly be watching.
Yeah, well, I think so many people out here are hoping that he comes back on stage because he's fantastic, and there's no other entertainer like Michael Jackson. He is in a class by himself.
We look forward to his tsunami relief record being released, kind of a We Are the World too. We look forward to Michael and his brothers reuniting and going on their world tour. Ramon Bain, Michael Jackson's spokesperson, thank you very much for being with us.
And thank you for having me on.
Good night.